So, you want to play the heavy class. Maybe you picked it because you like playing the tank, and then you saw those shiny akimbo pistols. Or maybe you picked it because it's been a historically strong class at the highest levels of the game, and you want to learn how to play heavy the correct way. Or maybe you just wanted to bonk people with the sledgehammer. Regardless of your reason, you probably came here to learn how to play heavy so that you don't end up looking like this guy.
You're all done for. I got motion sensors. I see you now. I see you. Dodge this rocket. How did he dodge it? You can't do that. You're all dead. Sledgehammer. Out. How my sledgehammer? He's cheating. He's cheating. It didn't hit.
So to help you make sure that you're not playing like that guy, I'll be going over everything you need to know to be the heavy player that your teammates will love. And with that said, let's get started. Before I talk about heavy as a whole, I want to talk about these 3 gadgets to make sure that you understand why they're so good. Starting off with RPG. Even though the RPG has been steadily nerfed since the game initially came out, it's still a fantastic gadget for both combat and general utility. You can use it to open engagements, take out players running away, use it midair, or get some quick destruction if necessary. But you do have to be a little bit more accurate with it than you used to, as it's not quite as forgiving as it once was. Dome Shield, however, is the real powerhouse in the heavy's arsenal. When used right, it just basically gives your team a ton of extra HP to play around in the 5 seconds that it's up, and that's plenty of time to change the outcome of a fight. I recommend using it to take space and push up on players, but you could also use it defensively as well to try and kill an enemy who might be chasing after you, expecting an easy kill. Along with these two, C4 is actually one of the best tools in the heavy's loadout, but I don't see many people besides top players using it, so I want to quickly explain why it's a gadget that you should at least have in reserves. It's really good for stalling cash outs, and if you knock over the cash out on top of it, this can stop teams from glitching it or blowing it up preemptively without using their own explosives. Additionally, shooting a C4 with a rocket launcher can actually lead to some crazy burst damage when used correctly, and is also particularly effective if you're being chased by an enemy. I should also mention that it's okay to bring whatever gadgets that you would like, but the ones that I discussed so far are the ones that get used the most by some of the best heavy players in the world, and for good reason. So now that I've talked about those gadgets and why they are important, let's take a look at how to play heavy in general, starting with Charge and Slam. Charge and Slam is a very powerful ability, and if teams don't respect it, they will most likely get killed by it. You can also use it in emergency situations to get some pretty ridiculous kills. As a Charge and Slam heavy, your role is the entry frag, to get everyone's attention, possibly by charging into them, get some damage, and then try to survive long enough for your team to finish them off. You are there to basically lead the charge for your team and take power positions. So during this fight, I go to secure the high ground and take down this light with my medium. I manage to take care of the light, but my medium decides to split off and ends up dying. So at this point, I'm going to try and take care of the remaining players on the enemy team, as I imagine they have low health. The enemy heavy decides to push me for some reason here. It was a good attempt, but sadly for him, the wrong play. This allows me to get the reset on my medium teammate. Some of you might have noticed that the light got away with the cash box at this point, but there's really not much point in me chasing down a grapple light when I'm a slow heavy, and I leave that to our team's light to deal with instead. Similarly, in this clip, I'm going to wait on the high ground as this is the most advantageous spot for me to be in and look for the enemies. I do end up seeing them, but I'm not going to push them until I see a good opportunity. I end up getting some damage in on their light, and then our team's light goes in for the kill. This is where it's my time to push in. I see the enemy team going upstairs, and I do get some damage in on them. And the heavy then turns to attack me. This means that I have now done my job, and the heavy is now distracted with me, and their team is split. At this point, we just need to take out the rest of the team, which are now separated. Now, it should come as no surprise that heavy is a very team-oriented class, but sometimes things don't always go according to plan. What do you do if you get separated from your team and then you find yourself to be the last person standing? In this example, I drop down to help my teammates, but the floor unfortunately blows up underneath me, leaving me in a very unlucky situation. So the first thing I'm going to do is use my dome to create space and then use my abilities with a large area of effect to get entry damage. This allows me to get a kill on one and good damage on the other. I hear them defib and I run out of ammo, so I grab my teammate's statue to go for the reset to even the odds. My other teammate decides to coin in here, and then I hear the enemy up top. I then make a split-second decision to shoot at the red canister because I assume they're both there, and that turned out to be a good choice. After some bad aim on my part, we do get the team wipe. So in situations like these, just remember to use your utility in meaningful ways, and try to continue pressure on the enemy team, and When time allows, go for the reset. Also, if this video has been helpful or entertaining, a like would be awesome as it really does help out the channel a ton. And if you wanted to subscribe for mostly weekly finals videos, let's just say that I would heavily appreciate it. Okay, I'm never saying that line again. Let's just get back to the video. Now, if you're playing Mesh Shield, you do have to think about Heavy a little bit differently. You don't have as much offensive power as Charge and Slam users do, and you are playing a little bit more of that true tank role. This means that while you should still be going for entry damage, you are particularly effective at drawing attention and staying alive. Something that I like to do is walk right up to enemies with the Mesh Shield. This is going to pull all of the attention on you, and your team can follow up with free damage. And when they run out of ammo or turn to run, just pull out your gun and get some free damage in yourself. You can cycle this with Dome Shield and wait for the cooldown to finish to get maximum shield uptime if you want. In this example, I coined in to help protect my cash out, but unfortunately, I'm separated from my only surviving teammate. But it's here that I see this medium who is also separated from their team, so I decide to try and win this 1v1 and even out the playing field. After this, I immediately go to help my teammate, and the other heavy decides to coin in at this point, making it a 3v1 against the enemy team. There's not much time left on this cash out, so I let the medium take it, while I Mesh Shield to keep him alive. This combined with the utility from the other heavy makes it impossible for the enemy team to stop this cash out steal in time. A little bit later in this match, our medium teammate goes down, and since I don't see any of the enemies, my number one priority right now is to revive the medium so our team can reset. I then see purple team and fake a Mesh Shield to scare them off. I accidentally hit myself with a rocket here. Don't do this. So then I stay up here and let my medium heal me while the other heavy goes in for the kill. I then chase down this player here and manage to secure the elimination. Purple team does manage to regroup a little bit, so this is where it's my job to go up and take space while my team helps me chase them down. Mesh Shield combined with Dome Shield allows us to take a ton of this space, and we manage to get the team wipe. Now, Winch Claw is a little bit of a different heavy playstyle than the other ones. While you are still a heavy and most of what I said before still applies, you're going to be a little bit more focused on getting singular kills rather than just blocking damage for your whole team or just getting that entry damage. If you run specifically SA-12 with the Winch Claw, you could open your engagements by trying to grab someone, but in some situations, you might want to wait until you've fired 4 shots, as the SA-12 will actually reset while your winch is active. So for the sake of example, I'm going to fire 4 shots here, use my winch, and I'll be able to fire 4 shots immediately afterwards. So in this match, I'm running the Winch Claw along with C4, as this can give me some really crazy stall potential if I play right. Here I remotely detonate the cash out to cause confusion and bring it down to the level my team is at. Then I can play from this room and just winch it over to guarantee the cash out goes to us. Winch Claw can also be used to counter other utility. I go in and fight to take the attention away from my mediums, and I end up dying, but that's okay since they can both just defib me back into the fight. I know this heavy has Charge and Slam, so I wait for him to use it so I can cancel it with my Winch Claw. Trying to avoid as much damage as possible when you're out of winch range is very important. So while I'm defending this suspended structure cash out, I'm going to use Goo Grenade to keep myself from dying, and I'm going to spend a rocket to destroy this zipline, making it so that they're unable to push me. Eventually, the enemy team is going to have to use movement to get over, but the fight will be on my terms, and they are all within winching distance. Goo Gun is a highly underrated specialization that I don't really see many people using. It has a lot of potential for some really cool strategies, but you do end up playing a little bit more like a medium/heavy hybrid than just a straight up heavy. You also do tend to give up a decent bit of map control when playing this specialization, but you do trade that for a lot more defense. Sealing off doors, vents, and windows are what most players are going to be doing, but this will usually only delay people instead of keeping them out entirely. So when the enemy team breaks through the wall here, I need to get aggressive fast to push them away from the cash out and once again make space. At this point, we just have to make sure that the heavy with Sledge doesn't take too much ground, and once he's dead, we can then push the other 2 players. Purple team is going to attempt a reset here, so I'm going to dome in again and focus the medium first and then deal with the heavy. My teammate ends up going down, so I keep suppressive fire over his statue so that my teammate can safely get the res, as the heavy will die if they peek out at this point. After that, I'm just going to seal these walls that were destroyed during that fight, and we'll be able to safely get this cash out. Goo Gun can also be really helpful at stalling enemies if your team isn't there. Here I can just keep firing goo at the staircase until my team arrives, and then we can move in for the kill. And that's everything that you need to know to be the heavy player that your teammates will love. I really hope this video was helpful for you and you find some value out of it. And if you want to see more content like this, subscribe for mostly weekly videos on the finals. That's just about it from me. I'll see you next time.